this next question certainly would fall into the category of you just go to the top of the board and see who the best players are in terms of recruiting ranking, at least talent evaluation to answer this question. But just based on your own reading and research, huddle tapes you've watched, whatever your resources are, some guys that you'd like to highlight that may not necessarily be at the top of the board that you find as pretty intriguing prospects.
It's a great question. The obvious ones are the guys that were the hallmarks in this class, those being Tyree West, as we already mentioned, Tayven Jackson, quarterback out of Indiana, 4-star guy who I think fits incredibly into Heupel's system. You just watch that tape and you compare it to what Heupel was running this year with Hendon Hooker. I think he slots right in really nicely, and that's great. Those are the really notable guys. Another one being Justin Williams, running back that Tennessee. They had to fight off Auburn right at the end. Auburn made a really strong push for that kid, and ultimately Heupel locked him down. He looks great on film, and that's a position where it sounds strange because Tennessee was pretty strong running the ball this year, but they're losing Tyon Evans, who was kind of their star back, and so I think you need more guys like this. And he fits in really nicely. But down the list, I mean, I just look at some of these guys that you might not hear a lot about. Like this one, I think, is notable, if for nothing else, that his nickname, Marquarious White, but he goes by Squirrel White. And I like a guy like that. He's kind of buried down in the class, if that's the way that you want to say it. But I think that he is a guy that could just kind of pop up and really be a great asset in the Tennessee offense, just because Heupel spreads the ball out so much on offense. He just goes to 15 different options. And so you could get a guy like that who can come in and probably contribute immediately. You had young guys contributing this season, and your Velus Jones is moving on. And a couple of other guys are too. So you got opportunities right there. And some of these young guys like this, per se, they step up in camp. I think could contribute fairly immediately. And so I like to see that. But on the whole, most of the highlights, I would say, are on offense. The defensive haul in this class was good, but they're not the super flashy guys. They're definitely going to be guys that are going to have to be developed. And especially on the defensive line, Tennessee has Rodney Garner at the defensive line, who's a stalwart coach and really a big time stalwart recruiting guy in the SEC. And he did a really good job in this recruiting class. But you're going to have to rely on those coaches to develop these guys. They're 3-stars for the most part, and kind of buried down the list in terms of like top 247 sports players or anybody or anything like that. So I think they can be immediate contributors, but I'm not sure exactly who that would be. I mean, Tennessee certainly on defense has the chance to have some immediate, some guys immediately help. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of just pinpointing one guy that I just go like, yep, it's going to be that guy. You look at Tyree West. That's just the easy answer. Highest rated guy in the entire class. Kind of goes without saying. But beyond that, it's going to kind of be a crapshoot to just see who takes the lead and works the hardest and gets on the field.
Well, any player with the nickname Squirrel, if he's going to make it in college football, you would think Josh Heupel's offense would be the place for him to be.
I really hope that he does, because I want to talk about Squirrel White. I can tell you that much. Such a great name.